Duolingo, Babbel, and Pimsleur are some of the most popular language learning apps, but which one is the best? Before I tell you which one's the best and why, I want to give you some background information about myself. So I'm half Hispanic, half American, but I grew up in America, so I didn't really get to learn Spanish growing up. So I had to teach myself. I really wanted to learn because I have a lot of family in Mexico, and it really bothered me that I couldn't really talk to them. But not only that, but I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to be half Hispanic and not be able to speak Spanish. So I was like, I gotta learn Spanish, right? So I had to teach myself. And I've tried a lot of things, so I'm gonna share that with you. What's the easiest and best way that I have found and the fastest way to learn language, and all the apps that I have tried. I've tried Babbel, I've tried Duo, and I've tried Pimsleur. So which one is the best? I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. The best app that I've ever used is 100% without a doubt Pimsleur. But here is why. Let me explain this before you go and click off this video and go download it. Let me explain why. I tried Duo for years. Like I literally mean years, like probably a decade now. The problem with Duo is that it's too gamey. It focuses too much on experience points and leveling up and getting XP, and then, oh, now you're on level 5 and this, and it becomes very gamey. And in the beginning I thought that was a good thing, because I was like, oh, I'm learning Spanish, but it feels like a game. But really it's not a good thing. It's really a bad thing, because you become focused on the experience points and leveling up and moving on to the next lesson. And the thing is, you feel like you're learning on Duolingo, but really you're just getting, like, you're learning more vocabulary, but you're not learning how to speak or listen to Spanish. Now, they have updated their app to add more stuff like that, because in the beginning it was mostly just reading and writing, but they have added more stuff such as podcasts and stories and stuff like that. But still, I have a problem with Duo, where now they have a thing where it's like 3 or 5 strikes, I believe, and if you miss that, you can't do anything for the rest of the day. All right, so now it's like, it started to get to the point where I was like, well, if I mess this up, I can't just restart. So I started to just cheat. Like, I started to cheat my way through lessons, and again, because I was more focused on leveling up and getting the XP than I was like learning the language, just because that's the way the app made it feel. And also because of that anxiety of like, oh, if I make this mistake, then I'm gonna have to restart over. And plus, the mistakes were very, very simple. The mistakes were like, if you misspelled a word, right? And it's like, you're learning a language, how perfect are you gonna be with grammar? And that is the biggest issue with Duolingo, is that it focuses way too much on being perfect. Being perfect with the grammar, the pronunciation, with just everything, the spelling. And if you make one tiny little mistake, it's not like, oh, that's okay, you're learning a new language. No, it's like, it makes a bad sound like, and then you lose one of your strikes. And if you lose them all, you can't do anything until the next day. And that's, of course, because it wants you to pay for the unlimited, where you can just practice all you want. And that's just a big issue to me, because, okay, I speak English, but if I were to take a grammar test or an English test, I'm probably going to get like a 50% on it. A 50% is an F. But guess what? You guys who are speaking English, I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. And if you were speaking to me, I can understand what you're saying. We can have a conversation about anything. But is my English perfect in terms of grammar? No, not even close. I'm pretty sure I'd fail an English test. I might at best get a D or a C, but I'm not going to do very well. So when you're learning another language, you don't want to focus on being perfect or learning the grammar. You want to just dive in, speaking and listening. And that is where Pimsleur comes in. Pimsleur is freaking incredible, because that's the whole focus of the thing. Now, there's other things in there, such as flashcards and some reading assignments, but you don't have to do those. I'm telling you, 80% of what you will get from Pimsleur just comes from the lessons. And it's so simple. You just do one lesson, and it moves on to the next one. And I'm going to give you guys an example here. Here's one example, just to tell you guys how awesome Pimsleur is. I'm going to play something for you guys.
This is Unit 1 of Pimsleur's Mandarin Chinese 1. Listen to this conversation.
对不起，请问你会说英文吗？
不会，我不会说英文。
我会说一点儿普通话。
你是美国人吗？
是，我是美国人。
In the next few
Okay,
minutes.
this lesson is, all the lessons are 30 minutes, by the way. This is what it looks like. Okay, you just press play, 30 minutes, and then that's it. You're done. You're done. That conversation right there, I heard that and I was like, whoa. I was like, slow down. I don't even understand the first word. It's like, there's no way I'm going to get this. And the guy says, like, you're going to understand this conversation in the next few minutes. And I was like, no freaking way. There's no freaking way. Like, that was gibberish to me. I did the lesson. 30 minutes later, I understood that whole conversation, and I could speak it, and I could have someone speak it to me, and I got it. On Duolingo, that 30 minutes right there would probably take me 6 months, 3 to 6 months on Duolingo to get that. Yeah, notice how it didn't start out with ni hao, right? It didn't start out with, here's how to say hello in Chinese. Here's how to say goodbye in Chinese. Here's how to say good morning in Chinese. Here's how to say good night. No, it started off with a conversation. And that is like the whole point. That's the biggest problem with all these other apps, is they're like, they just make you feel like you're learning, but they really don't give you that much. That way you keep paying them for your rest of your life, for these points and experience and leveling up and moving on to the next lesson. This is about, hey, let's jump in there. Let's jump in there, and you're going to listen, and then you can repeat it yourself. And there's no mistakes that you can make on here. Obviously, you can make mistakes, but I mean, you're not going to get punished for it, and you're not going to get rewarded for it. The reward you get is in real life, right? Not on a screen by some experience points. And I will show you guys, just to further reinforce my point. I told you my English isn't perfect, right? I still mess up with English. Just to further reinforce my point, I want to show you guys on my Duolingo app, if this thing will focus. Anyways, here you can see I have 78,000 experience points. Almost 80,000 experience points on Duolingo. Almost reached a 1-year streak straight of non-stop Duolingo every day. And so when I started Duolingo, I used to think that if I complete this whole app, if I do every single lesson, then I'll have to be fluent in Spanish. And I also thought if I do that and take notes and fill up an entire notebook of notes, I'd gotta be like a professional in Spanish, right? Because teachers used to always say, oh, when you take notes, it connects it better to your brain and you remember it better because now you're not just using your eyes, you're using your hands and more whatever. That is something I actually did too. Here's my Spanish notebook for years, and I literally filled up, I'll show you guys, the whole freaking book, all right, with notes from every lesson that I did on Duolingo. And guess what? After that, I thought, I was like, man, my Spanish is pretty good. I got all these notes, I know all these words. So I moved to the city, and there are a lot more Spanish-speaking people in the city, right? So when I moved to the city, shortly after, I became a landlord, started renting out some units, and had some Spanish-speaking tenants. And again, I thought my Spanish was great because I lived in a rural area where there's no Spanish-speaking people. When I moved here, and the first tenant I had who said I don't speak much English, I was like, oh, that's fine, I got this. Showed up to the door, and they just started going off in Spanish, and I was just dumbstruck. I was like, whoa. I was like, that can't be Spanish, right? You're speaking something else, because I spent 7 years on Duolingo taking all these notes, and I'm basically a Spanish professor, okay? And what you're speaking ain't Spanish, because if it was, I would understand it. I would know exactly what you're saying, bro. You ain't speaking Spanish. Of course, they were speaking Spanish, and my Spanish was just crap because I didn't focus on what was important, which is just speaking and listening. That's it, okay? That's all you need to focus on. So technically, you don't even need an app to do this. You can just go start on YouTube. You can go start watching movies and turn the subtitles on, and you can learn that way. I just love Pimsleur, and I pay for it because how structured it is, and it just works. I mean, you guys, there's a free trial. Just try the free trial, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's so fast that you can learn a language. And again, I've tried a lot of things. Okay, I've tried tutors. Here's the problem with tutors, by the way. You would think a tutor would be the best route because you have a person face to face. The problem with a tutor is that you can't speak with them because you don't know the language, right? It's not like they can sit down and you guys can just go back and forth. They sit down with you, and then they have to just tell you, they're like, they can say, okay, let's have a conversation. But then as soon as they get past hi, you're going to be like, okay, I don't know what that means. What's it mean? They're going to explain it to you. And then you're going to take a while understanding that. You're like, okay, I think I got that word now. Okay, let's move on. And it's really slow. And then you pay for an hour. And it's also more pressure because you feel like, oh, I'm going to look stupid in front of this person if I mess up or if I do this. With Pimsleur, you don't look stupid to anybody, right? And here's the other thing I forgot to mention. Pimsleur, you can do anywhere. You can put headphones in, do it while you're working out. You can do it at the gym. Duolingo's more hands-on, right? You gotta sit down. So I could only do Duo when I was waiting in line or something, or if I just had some free time. You're folding laundry, do it. You're driving, put it on. You're in the gym working out, put it on. Whatever you're doing, if you're walking, dude, put it on. And that's also why it's so much faster to learn that way with listening. Again, you don't have to do Pimsleur, all right? But my point is, stay away from these apps that are having you solve word problems and stuff like that. Stop trying to learn vocabulary and just start listening. Just start listening to a language, okay? Do it through movies. People say read books. I don't agree with that again. I say stay away from the reading and writing. That can be supplemental. That's it. It should only be supplemental after you have spent 80% of your time listening and repeating. Listening and repeat. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Over and over and over and over again. And yes, I do recommend putting some movies in there because Spanish movies is going to be the closest to how people talk actually in Mexico. So if you can understand that, you're going to be pretty good if you go to a Spanish-speaking country. So that's all I really have to say about that, guys. I just wanted to put that out because I know Duolingo is super popular and you feel like you're learning, okay? But here's all I have to say. If you've done Duolingo and you've done it for a while now, I want you to go turn on a movie, whatever language you're learning, and see how much you can pick up. Don't look at the subtitles, don't look at anything, just turn it on, let them go, let them speak, and then see how much you really retain because it's not that much. And I'm dead serious when I say this. 1 month on Pimsleur has been equivalent to probably 3 years, maybe, on Duolingo. Yeah, that's not a joke. And one 30-minute lesson. One 30-minute lesson is equivalent to 3 to 6 months on Duolingo. I'm dead serious. If you don't believe me, go try yourself. Told you my English. Shit. All right, anyways. Try it out. There's a free trial. Try it out. Okay, you have nothing to lose. You'll love it. I promise you. Fastest way to learn a language. Thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day. Do not forget to get better every single day. Peace.